Orphanages are the real child traffickers. People often suggest giving your baby up for adoption as an alternative to having an abortion, and those things are pretty similar. Abortion and adoption sound pretty close, for one, and if getting an abortion is throwing your child in the trash, adoption is recycling, which is weird because abortion is the only one that's good for the environment. Musings like this are pretty much the best thing a philosophy major can do for you, and I don't even have one, so if you do, damn, that was a waste of time. If you don't follow, less people is good for the environment, and orphanages are a very bad environment for children. My favorite thing having to do with them is that cliche story you always hear of like two siblings who are inseparable and their parents die, so they get placed in an orphanage, and then some mean old dude comes along and is like, yeah, I'll take one of them. Who the fuck is that guy? It's always like a slave master who wants children to work for him, which if you're looking for cheap labor, I can think of a demographic far more suited to your taste standing outside Home Depot right now. Adopting kids is majorly expensive. It's like $28,000 on average. I could get one cheaper than that from a real child trafficking ring, and maybe I will. Now that's a rescue. If you want child trafficking to stop, tell the orphanages to start price matching. Even Walmart does that. But back to the dude who splits up siblings, how does that interview even go down? Yes, you see those two boys with their arms around each other over there? I want one of them. Sir, these kids are inseparable. They can't live without each other. They can and they will. Give me one. Sir, these kids are literally attached at the hip. I really don't recommend splitting them up. I recommend you shut your trap and fork one over. I already have a dog and I don't have room for two kids. Sir, look closer. I've been trying to tell you. These are conjoined twins. Well, saw 'em in half then. I want one kid with one leg and 2/3 of a liver. Let's go. I'd been saving that bit for this stage, but I haven't done stand-up in months, so I figure I'll immortalize it before someone else's parallel thinking screws me out of a guaranteed applause break later in life. Orphanage ages cut off at 18. It should be much sooner. Who wants to adopt a 17-year-old? Yeah, do you have anyone in the back who's cagey and seen too much? I've got a guest room in my house. Be just perfect for someone who already smokes weed and masturbates. Once you're a teenager, your time should be up. Well, looks like nobody wanted to shape your formative years. Here's a sleeping bag and a backpack. Enjoy being homeless. If you're a 13-year-old cynic delinquent, you're pretty much set in your ways. Let a gang pick you up if they don't just beat the shit out of you instead. That's callous. Yeah, but I don't like kids. That's always been the driving theme of this series. If you tell people you're thinking about adopting, they look at you like, what are you, gay? And it's not even a bigoted question because gay people frequently adopt, as do barren people. So it stands to reason you're possibly one or both of those. Miscarriages are a tragedy, but they're also good news for foster kids. They love miscarriages. Yes, a chance! If it weren't for miscarriages, I don't think foster care would be a thing. Everybody would be like, no thanks, I'll make my own, and I'm sure it will live. Single moms are another driving force. I've noticed that single moms are often thought of as like uncriticizable martyrs and saints you can't say shit about. Kind of like military veterans and transgender people. So naturally, as someone who doesn't believe in sacred cows, I have a more vested interest in making fun of them now. You always hear people's stories of how they and their 14 siblings were all raised by a single mom who worked 9 jobs just to put food on the table, and while making the best of a bad situation is admirable, it would have been way easier if she just had a man around the house. An extra pair of hands would have thoroughly solved all of her problems. It's like if you're working as a waitress and you're understaffed, one waitress can zoom around the restaurant and keep track of a bunch of orders with accuracy and timeliness, and wow, that chick is a fucking champion. But rather than deify that situation and pretend it's optimal, most employers would just hire another waitress so the first waitress wouldn't have to do that shit every day. Just because she can doesn't mean it's the best option for her. She could use some goddamn help. And maybe in some single mom's case, the extra pair of hands she used to have started feeling up another woman on weeknights when they said they were at a business meeting, and she had to cut ties with those hands to preserve the sanctity of the family. Well, in that case, your mom needs a nanny, and if she can't afford a nanny, she needs to put herself out there and come home with her spin class teacher. Some single moms cycle through terrible boyfriends one after the other and end up further toxifying the family dynamic, in which case your mom doesn't need a boyfriend, she just needs to not have been a mother in the first place. Something about her is clearly attracting the wrong type of guy, and she is clearly attracted to the wrong type of guy, and so that woman should not have kids, lest they grow up to be the wrong type of guy, or a girl attracted to the wrong type of guy. 2 parents are better than 1. 2 heads are better than 1, so if those heads become parents, I don't see why that reasoning would change. 1 super parent is better than 2 shitty parents, but 2 average parents are better than 1 super parent. Children need stability and security, and 2 people on their side provide that better than 1. 2 bodyguards are better than 1, and this is why divorce rips children apart psychologically, even if it's amicable, as if any divorce can be considered amicable. No married couple was ever like, one day we both realized we were such great friends that we filed for divorce. I might not like kids, but I certainly prefer nice, well-adjusted kids to shitty, damaged ones. Single motherhood should not be romanticized. If you're a strong, independent woman who don't need no man, you don't need no kids either. Get a dog, probably a German Shepherd, which lets everyone know you've been hurt by men before. If you ever meet a girl who lives alone with a German Shepherd, I hope you can handle emotional baggage. It's the millennial version of Crazy Cat Lady. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe, Twitter, Patreon, and I'll see you guys next time.